going to start our unit now on equations. We're going to first look at writing equations. Right? In order to write this equation, we still need to get down some vocabulary, make sure we're all talking about the same thing here. So first off, a variable. Right? A variable is symbols used to represent unspecified numbers or values. Things we don't know, we use variables to represent them. Usually our variables are letters, but they could be anything, that's why we call them symbols. And remember, if I'm reading these too fast for you right now, go ahead and pause the video, finish copying the definition, and then hit play when you're ready to go. A constant is a term that is just a number. So, going back to the variable, a variable could be our letters. A constant would be just a number, 5. And remember, we said earlier in the last unit, terms are separated by addition and subtraction. So when you have a plus 5, 5 is the constant, a is the variable. Next, we're going to have the coefficient of a term. The coefficient of a term is the numbers in the term. Put that S because there could be more than one there. We'll look at an example here that does have more than one. Okay? So it's the number or numbers in the term. For example here, we have the term 17xy. In this problem, the coefficient of this term is the numbers. So it'd be 17, right? So the coefficient is 17. We have another term here, 3y squared over 4. In this one, the coefficient is the 3 times 3 divided by 4. Right? We have this right here, times 3 divided by 4. That's the coefficient. In the term m, that's a term. I can have m plus 3. The m is a term, the 3 is a term, right? The coefficient is 1 here. I didn't see 1. Well, we've said m is seen as 1m. Since 1 times m is the same as just m. And that's what 1m means. It means 1 times m. So the coefficient, if there is none, it is 1. Now we're going to look at writing some equations. Here's kind of a simple one pulled out of the Algebra 1 book here. 5 times the number a is equal to 3 times the sum of BC. And they kind of wrote it out here, just like it was in the problem. 5 times the number A is equal to 3 times the sum of A and B. We're adding those. So they just kind of took those exact words and put them step by step into the equation. So we have 5 times A, or 5A, equals 3 times BC, 3 parentheses B plus C. There would be the equation for those words. Here is another one, very similar to the same type problem, right? We asked them to do problem like this. 200, so let's start with 200, minus 3 times x. 3 times x, or I can just write it as 3x, right? Because that means times there's no space. Is equal to 9. There's my equation. I have the expression on both sides. I can make my equation. Next we're here. Dan is training to prepare for a residency. Okay? A lot of times we don't see them. We don't see these problems like this in our everyday life. It's going to be more like this. It's going to be more like this type of problem. Dan is training to prepare for wrestling season. Right now he weighs 160 pounds. He wants to lose weight so he can wrestle at 155 pounds. Write an equation that represents the situation. So what does Dan start at? He starts at 160 pounds. He wants to lose weight. Okay, what operation would be lose weight? Maybe minus. How much weight does he want to lose? We don't know. That's what we have to figure out, right? That would be our pounds. We do know at the end of losing the weight, he wants to weigh 155 pounds. Now, we could easily see that that's going to be 5, he's going to lose 5 pounds, but that's not what we're trying to do right now. We're just trying to write out the equation. So we gave you a simple equation to be able to write it out easily. Verity has $1,900 in the bank. She wants to increase her account to a total of $3,500 by depositing $30 per week from her paycheck. Write the equation that Mary could use to find how many weeks it would take her to reach her goal. So once again, where do we start at? And go ahead and try to write this before I write it. Go ahead and pause and try to write out the equation, see if you get it right. We start at $1,900. She's going to be putting in, she's going to be adding in her account. How much is she going to add in? $30 per week, not $30 once. It's not just $30. It's $30 for every week. We're going to multiply by the number of weeks. If it's 2 weeks, it'd be 30 times 2. She'd put in $60. If it's 3 weeks, it'd be 30 times 3, $90. So it's 30 per week. I mentioned earlier when we decided the notation that per means we're going to end up multiplying. Okay? And we know her total at the end of all this, we want it to equal $3,500. This one I might not be able to just look at and figure out how much W is. We can then solve this equation, which is what we'll be learning after this lesson. Okay? So then we can work on solving and figure out how many weeks it would take her to save up to $3,500. So that is it for the lesson. You need to make sure you fill in your notes for class, right? That is your homework. I will be checking that part. There are no questions to answer online. You have the notes completed.